Welcome to Unapologetically Badass, the podcast for women over 40 who are done dimming their light. I'm your host, Renee Carbone Fleming, coach, queen, and master of the midlife glow up. Solo chats, epic guests, no filter. Let's freaking go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Unapologetically Badass. My guest today is proof that your past doesn't get to decide how loudly you get to show up. Harriet Bratt helps entrepreneurs own their voice, speak with confidence, and sell powerfully from live and virtual stages and in her everyday life. Her journey includes an early ADHD diagnosis that diminished her confidence, being silenced by authority figures as a child, navigating a painful business partnership breakdown, and having the courage to start again as an entrepreneur. Today, Harriet travels the world speaking, running events, and teaching leaders how to stop shrinking, trust themselves, and step fully into their power. This conversation is about reclaiming your voice, turning self-doubt into self-belief, and finally being heard without freaking apology. Yeah. Harriet, welcome to Unapologetically Badass. How are you?
I love it. And I'm just going to have to say it again, because what a great name. Unapologetically Badass.
Right? Yes.
Thank awesome you. To be here with you and everybody listening.
Oh my gosh, fantastic to have you. So tell us a little bit more about you outside of the intro.
Oh my goodness, where to begin? Any specific area?
Well, tell us a little bit more about what you do. We can dive into more.
Absolutely. It would be a pleasure. I think, like many, this was a brand new world for me. It wasn't something that I grew up thinking I want to be a public speaker and I want to support other people to speak. But I think, like many people, mine happened to be in a role as a care home manager. I found myself feeling very undervalued, underappreciated. Whilst I did care about the residents, it didn't light me up. It wasn't my passion. It didn't bring me a lot of joy to be in that environment. And there are many people that it does that for, and I respect them, I admire them, and they are phenomenal. But for me, I was just feeling stressed. I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling run down. And I know a lot of people, even in different areas, will be able to relate to this. But I kind of was doing what I thought I had to be doing, right? Yeah. And of course, that moment came where finally it all got too much. I did the whole super ugly cry breakdown moment, like mascara down the face, snot bubbles. Even better, my office had a window that was like in the center of the care home. So there were residents, doctors, families walking past, and I'm, the manager's having a breakdown. Not literally, but almost. It was an incredibly sad moment. And I think to actually hide myself in that moment, I pulled up a newspaper, because as I was sitting behind this window at my desk, and I just saw an advert that said, would you like more flexibility? Would you like to be your own boss? Would you like to be in charge of your own diary? And in that moment of what felt like desperation, I just thought, yes, I do. And to cut a long story short, the network marketing world wasn't for me. I do still love that product. But I found personal development and I found speaking, and I saw the ability that we have when we hold a mic, and the inspiration, the hope, the value, the benefit we are able to provide. So I very much started on my journey of developing myself as a speaker, and then naturally, just by loving the environment, if I'm at an event, whether I am attending as a participant, whether I'm on the team, whether I'm speaking, or whether I'm hosting the whole thing, I just love being in that environment. So naturally, being at many events, I started to see that there's, it's one thing to speak, it's another to impact. I saw speakers that could captivate the room, land their message, and bring people in a comfortable, beautiful way, not a pushy, sleazy, but a comfortable, beautiful, aligned way into their programs and their offers. And I started to see others that had amazing content and wisdom, but weren't able to, as I say, they were speaking, but they weren't landing the message. Right. So then that next lane of also supporting speakers. So that was quite a long answer, but that's how
I love that. And I didn't know that you were in a network marketing business. Because I too, for over a decade, I mean, that's how I started my entrepreneurial journey. And the amount of lessons that we learn with network marketing, I know sometimes it has a bad reputation, but I have learned so much. I love the industry for what it can do. I say for women, but really for everyone. But it's a business in a box, and if you align yourself with with a good reputable company, you can really do well. It's been quite a ride. So I didn't know that about you.
No, I love it. Took me straight back with business in a box.
Yeah, I loved it. How long have you been in the space where you are not only speaking but helping others and teaching others how to have
Well, interestingly, I had a stark reminder today. Just recently, it was one of Tony Robbins' events, and each to their own on their thoughts. But he was someone that was the first event I attended 10 years ago. So I just literally realized it's been 10 years since I entered the personal development world. I started speaking in 2017, and I started running events in 2018.
Wow. And so where do you hold your events?
Mostly within the UK, but we also have retreats in Europe. We just discussed, it's on the other side from where you are, but we have an event over in the US as well. We've done retreats in Bali, spoken in Indonesia, Taiwan. So in various places, but mostly within the UK and retreats in Europe.
That's wonderful. So if somebody wanted to get their message out on stage and be featured speakers, what would you recommend? Where do they start?
I mean, we can tap into it if you feel it's relevant for your listeners. And I think for many, it's relevant at various stages. So I think one of the key pillars and foundations to always be aware of is our mindset, right? And from the perspective of speaking, I always say before we communicate externally behind the camera, on a podcast, from the stage, how are we communicating internally? Yeah. What is your story? How is it serving you? How is it supporting you, etc., etc.? As we know, public speaking is claimed to be one of the biggest fears, but it's actually the umbrella for all the little fears underneath it. So I think moving through your fear and kind of doing the reps in spite of fear is really important to mention. And then secondly, I would say, you said it then, but I think a lot of speakers miss this. You said, if people want to get their message out there. Now, when speakers, especially when they're getting started, especially entrepreneurs, leaders, coaches, mentors, probably many of you listening, you're kind, you're big-hearted people. Oh, and my screen flipped then, excuse me, coming back with you. You're kind, you're big-hearted people. You want to share your value, your wisdom, your information. So we think that by giving lots to the audience that we're sharing with, that we're giving a lot of value. But more often than not, when we try to give a lot, it's like, woo, inspiration in the moment, claps in the moment, but we forget it when we leave the room. Right? It's like 100 things. Wow. Inspiration, light bulb. Ooh, in the moment. But when they walk out the door, like what did they say? What did they speak about? When you focus on a message, which is what you said, and it's actually one of the keys. It's one of the keys to impact.
Quick crown check, Queen. If you're vibing with this episode, you're exactly the type of badass I built my empire for. Whether you're building your fuck it fund, launching your brand, craving a midlife reinvention, or just want to look and feel like $1 million freaking bucks, I've got you. From merch that speaks your truth to digital tools, coaching, and yes, even collagen that slaps. I serve the sass, the strategy, and the sparkle to help women over 40 take up space and cash checks doing what they love. Head on over to ReneeCarbonefleming.com or tap the link in the show notes. Pick your flavor of badass and let's turn your midlife into your power era.
People walk away thinking, feeling, and knowing the most important piece of benefit, value, information within the topic that you're speaking to. It could be entrepreneur, it could be business, it could be relationships, finance, health, etc., etc. But when you focus on a core message and then your teaching points, your storytelling, your statistics, your content, does everything to amplify and drive home that message, now you're creating impact, because they walk out the room remembering what you said. And even more than that, for those that it's really relevant for and are ready in that moment, they're more likely to take action. We take action on one thing. We don't take action on 100 things at once. So what is that core key message that your audience remembers? And I think, of course, there's a lot more, but I think those are some of the real keys to creating impact when you speak.
I love that. And it really resonates and reminds me of the Maya Angelou quote, you
One of
know,
my
people,
favorites.
right? So I'm going to, like, off the top of my head, but most people won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how you feel. They'll remember what you said to make them feel, or right. Yeah. What is I'm like losing it.
People will always remember what, no, I've done it back to front. People won't always remember what you say, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
Exactly. And that's the thing with the message. When people walk out of the room, you want them to have that connection to you, to go, wow, that message was powerful. If I took one thing away. Yeah, I love that.
And just to add, as we went there, I feel it's always been important, but especially now, like, if we're really honest, there is information everywhere, whether it's podcasts, YouTube, Google, AI, right? That information is everywhere, let alone all of the people that are also doing what you, or similar to what it is that you do. So the real key now is how are you going to stand out? Why are they going to come to you to get that information? So speaking is more important than ever. But on top of that, when you spoke about what are the keys to really making impact, providing an experience. I said it earlier on, I say it all the time. It's one thing to speak, it's another thing to impact. Can you provide your audience with an experience? Get them to feel, you shared, it's actually my favorite quote with Maya Angelou. What do they feel? Give them a quick win, giving them a moment of embodying the message that you're giving. And that experience, again, becomes so much more memorable than just sitting and listening to a load of information.
Yes, for sure. And that's why, that's why I'm so passionate about personal branding, and I help women strategize and create their voice so that, a lot of people don't know what their voice is, but the authenticity. And that's what I was having a conversation just the other day about podcasts, and you tapped in on it. There's so many people that podcast. There are so many freaking coaches, right? You can find coaches, you can find podcasts, you can find all the sorts of stuff. But the difference is what's going to make somebody listen to you, somebody listen to me. It's how, like, again, the way you said it, how we're going to make them feel. What is the message that we're sharing? And when they go, oh, I like this vibe. And that's why I think long form, we're so into, we have 3 seconds to capture someone, and they're like looking really quick and they're scrolling fast, and you got to like, pow, get them when you can. But it's such a great thing to have more long form video, so that people can really start to build that relationship or get to know somebody on a bigger level versus the short, quick. That's why I love I love that you're doing, speaking engagements. Now, when you're hosting these events, tell me a little bit more about these events. Are they tutorials? Are they messaging? Like, what exactly are the events that you hold?
We host a variety of different events. So our most common and most popular, I would say, are our 2 signatures. So one is a 1-day empowerment, essentially, event. But please don't get that mistaken, right? I am absolutely that person that used to go to events, get super hyped up, leave on an emotional high, and then a few days later be throwing a self-pity party and back on a low. So it's an empowerment event, but it's very much about a peaceful power. Like, you feel that fire, you feel that potential, you connect with your ability. But how do we walk out the room with it more embodied in our core, so that we have a calm constant every day, but then you can tap into, of course, that empowered state as well. So that's our 1-day event, Rise, which we do both in London, and I'm excited to be taking over to the US as well. And then our other is our 3-day speaking event. We have a 5-day speakers retreat, but the more common is our 3-day speaking event, which is very much around the 5 pillars of public speaking. Your mindset, how are you communicating internally, moving through fear, imposter syndrome, etc., etc. The fear of selling even. Yes.
Yes.
2, knowing your message. We spoke a little bit about that. 3, crafting your compelling content, what it is that you're sharing, and allowing it to be effective for the audience that you're sharing it with, ensuring that it's relevant. And then 4, my mum always used to say to me when I was younger, it's not what you say, it's the way you said it. Little did I know that would be one of the key areas and the core of what I do. It's about the impact. It's about how you share what you're doing. And then, of course, lastly, the business side. How do you get paid to speak, or how do you make your speaking pay as an entrepreneur through your programs, your events? So those are our 2 major events.
Wonderful. And do you hold the 3-day events in the UK, or is that also globally, or you do anything virtually?
That is UK. We do virtual events as well. Definitely connect with me if you want to know more or find out more, especially for the upcoming events. We do virtual events too. That is in the UK. In the US, we have Speaker Fire, which is essentially the same event, but I collaborate with a amazing guy, fire mentor called Kevin. So we run this very similar but LA version. And then, of course, we have a summer version within Europe, along with our speakers retreat.
That's wonderful. Tell us more about this firewalking stuff. You just go like glazed on that, but that's like, holy shit.
Oh, I love it. And now I know we can swear.
Oh, absolutely. It's unapologetically badass. Absolutely.
Yeah, get in bold. Because I tell you what, I fucking did swear when I first felt the fire. I want to preempt it. I think a lot of people experience firewalking with Tony Robbins, and I want to honor that, because what he's created, and I know it was mentioned earlier, I must be on a Tony Robbins spree, probably because I just went to his event, but also, again, it was the roots of where I started in this world. And I did UPW, which had the firewalk, but it was thousands of people. And I'm just going to be super honest about my experience. It was in the UK, it was winter, and we had to cross a gravel car park to get to the firewalk. I found that more challenging than the few seconds that we were on the fire. And it was still incredible. I still got the buzz. I still felt the potential. I still saw the power. But then a couple of weeks later, I did a firewalk with about 30 people. And we got to go a lot more times, which is how we do it at our events now. You really got to walk, to stand, to experience the fire. And for me, the first time I ever did it, it's one thing to be coached. It's one thing to be told. It's one thing to have an apologetic, badass, fucking epic moment. It's another thing to feel it inside of your body. Yeah. And I love coaching. I love mentors. I will refer. I will shout them out all day long. I offer that myself. But it's a different thing to experience something yourself. I just spoke about the importance of experiences, right? Abraham Hicks always says words don't teach, which I think is funny as a speaker, but experiences do. Yeah. So the fire, as you would expect, it's that moment of impossibility. No matter who you are or where you come from, that first time of standing in front of fire, and it's a big fire, you feel the heat. And what have we always been told about fire? It's hot, it will burn you, stand back, don't touch it, right? And if we take that out to our everyday life, how often are we told similar untruths? How often do we form similar stories about things that we think that we cannot do? So when you stand in front of the fire and you feel that fear, it's a bit like the Susan Jeffries book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Yeah. When you stand, and people don't have to walk, it's absolutely their choice in that moment, but more often than not, they do. And quite often we get people in the morning like, no, not doing it, no. And then later on they walk. But it's always up to them, because that's the power of the experience. But when you think then, they felt the fire, they feel the fear, they calm themselves, they make a conscious choice to walk. When they do, they experience that celebration of a moment they thought would be impossible, but they've just done it. And then that goes back into your everyday life. And like, let's get super real here. Yeah. We get scared to send an email. We get scared to have a conversation. We get scared to get on the stage. We get scared to wear a new outfit, to do a certain hairstyle, right? Whatever it might be, but fear shows up. So again, it's that beautiful anchor. And I don't always use it, but more often than not, if I'm in that like fight or flight moment, think of the fire and I remember, oh yes, okay. Fear is natural, fear is normal, but it is my choice what I do next. So that is why I use the firewalk in what we do and other experiences like the arrow, the glass walk, various different experiential breakthroughs. But again, it's that ability to be in a certain state of mind, but choose your response in that moment, if that makes sense.
And it does. And I love the fact that, these are choices that we make and that you're giving your audience a chance to do, because you're right. When you have this fear, but you choose to do it anyway, then anything else that comes up in your life that you were told or taught to be fearful of, that's like it nothing compared. If I can fucking walk on fire, I can pick up the phone and call someone and ask for, a client or whatever it is that you're offering. But
you can be unapologetically badass.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. I love that. It makes me think. So I wrote an anthem, and you would love this. I'm going to have to send it to you. But I wrote an anthem called "Watch Me Rise," and yep, on Spotify and Apple and stuff. But it's got that vibe, unapologetically badass. No one claim your reign. It's a badass queen. Raise your. It's so like bold.
Especially as we said, our one-day event is called Rise. I think you have to send it to me, and I'll credit you all day long. But we'll have to use it.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. That's so funny. I mean, I always feel, whether it's, if somebody believes in God, universe, whatever, but people come into our lives for a reason. Right. And so when I saw your story and saw you online, and I was like, oh my gosh, she talk about unapologetically freaking badass. This woman needs to be on the show, and we need others to hear her story, because you also had or do have ADHD. So how did that come into play in your journey, even to get you where you are?
Absolutely. And again, I know everyone experiences different versions, different stories of this. So I'm simply speaking from my experience around this. I was someone that was diagnosed at quite an early stage. I was seven years old. And it was actually my mom that originally, she sort of, I was going to say like the internet, but it probably wasn't even that at that time. But somewhere she came across ADHD, and she sort of started to self-diagnose me, ended up taking me to a specialist, and I was diagnosed. But to be honest, for me, and I love my mum very much, I know that she was coming from a place of care. She wanted the best for me, especially as I had this, a lot of people call it a condition. I call it a personality trait. But at that time, and we've got a great relationship, even more so now, we've always been close. But at that time, the way she approached it for me was very difficult. I went from being a sort of carefree child, impulsive, spontaneous, running around in her bare feet, running out the door with her hair free. Yes, not always the best concentration, but generally speaking, a bubbly, lively, determined child. And I'd been that way, all my life. And then suddenly what felt like overnight, there was this: you have ADHD, sit down, be quiet, stop seeking attention, go and take your tablet, stop showing off. And this kind of bombardment of really insults at that time. And again, I'm not speaking this out against her. She did this all from a place to help me, and from what she knew best. And again, there probably were moments where I did do that, but it wasn't all the time. But of course, for me, that created this story of like, I don't know how I'm supposed to show up in the world. I don't know who I'm supposed to be. And through some other experiences that I had,
so that created like a negativity, this label, it was a switch that like, oh, I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Like, oh, I have to be quiet. I have to fit in, I'm not supposed to express myself in a natural way. And my self-talk was horrible, and it led to me masking a lot and just trying to fit in. And through another experience I had later, really just questioning myself and whether or not I belong in this space. And I think at the root of it, there's many emotions I could share within that, but at the root of it, I think all of us have desire to be loved, desire to belong. And I just sort of felt like I wasn't, and I wasn't good enough. And my self-talk was appalling, and it led to me masking through a lot of my life. But then again, you know, finding this world, as we shared earlier on in our conversation, doing a lot of healing, doing a lot of the inner work, having a lot of support and a lot of help. And I really encourage people to reach out and ask for that when we need it. I managed to, you know, for me now, it's like ADHD Harriet D. I see see it as my superpower. I see it as a personality trait. And are there certain areas that I need to, for example, if I'm doing my admin, I need music on in the background, I need to be standing up, and I need a half an hour timer and to do it in segments. But I found what works for me. And then I'm able to shine in it and express in my impulsivity as well. So it was a very difficult experience, but it also led to part of why I speak so boldly and encourage others to express themselves fully, through my experience of that. So again, I know it's cliche, but truthfully, I'm so grateful for that experience. I'm so grateful for that part of me. I'm so grateful for how it unfolded. I'm grateful that I did hide away and I did allow myself to be in a box and dim myself and filter myself. And I'm even more freaking grateful that I boldly, unapologetically, like a badass, came out the box and started expressing myself fully, right? So it's a circle moment and a beautiful question. Thank you.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, I love the courage that you made the decision to speak about it, but also frame it in the way that this is part of your personality. It's not a condition. This is who you are. This is who we are. And once you embrace, right? We always talk about being authentic. Once we embrace our imperfectly perfect person that we all are, then, right? I mean, it's like, okay, fuck it. People don't like me. That's okay. I'm not your cup of tea. I drink coffee. I'm good. Like, it's totally fine. We all have our thing that is part of our personality. So labeling it, but I'm so great. I'm happy that you share it so authentically so that it'll inspire someone else to not look at it as a negative aspect of their lives. Like, it's, you know, I love that. So what else is next for you?
For me, very much a continuation of what we're doing. I spent a lot of, even the year before last, but particularly kind of the beginning and middle of last year, really refining what we do, what we offer, what events we're running, collaborations. So this year, it's very much in continuing to grow and scale that, continuing to support others to create epic impact when they are sharing, speaking, and selling from stages. And also, touch wood, hold this space. We're currently doing some extension work and some things here before we do it. But I think my husband and I are going to be moving into Greece. So, of course, that's taking some focus and some attention, but a very exciting move as well.
That is wonderful. Oh my gosh. So Greece is, I want the Instagram photo. That's pretty much what I want from Greece. With the long gown.
It's not going to be for a couple of months yet. As I say, we've got the extension. We've got a wonderful, gorgeous, happy, but elderly at that time dog. So there's a few things to let unfold here, and then as and when. So stay connected, keep following, and then celebrate with me when the blue pictures start popping up.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I can't wait for you. I'm so happy to be connected with you. And where can people find you and follow you?
I am Harriet Bratt on both Facebook and Instagram, or Harriet Bratt Speaker. And I do really invite you to connect, whether it's about the speaking, the ADHD. If you just want some fun and a great conversation, then do reach out, do connect with me either on Facebook or Instagram at Harriet Bratt.
Fantastic. Everyone, please go follow Harriet. Go connect with her. You are such a brilliant light. I'm so happy to be connected with you. Thank you for sharing your journey with us all. And everyone, make sure that you share this episode with other women that you love who are also unapologetically badass, because we all have that inner badass. And make sure that you like and subscribe to our show. So thank you all. Thank you, Harriet. Good luck with the move, and I'll be following you for sure and connecting them, I'm sure, in the future.
Yes. Thank you so much. We continue rising together.
Fantastic. Thank you. for today, Queen, but don't just walk away inspired, walk away activated. If this episode lit a fire under your fabulous ass, hit that follow button, leave a review, and share it with your fiercest ride or die. Your support helps this podcast reach even more women who are ready to reclaim their power. And hey, if you're ready to look, feel, and earn like $1,000,000 freaking bucks, I've got an entire badass empire waiting for you. From confidence boosting merch to brand strategy, coaching, collagen, content, and everything in between, head on over to reneecarbonefleming.com or tap the link in the show notes. Pick your flavor of badass and let's turn midlife into your power era. Stay bold, stay unapologetic, and wear the damn crown.